Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Wednesday night, I'm just philosophizing. Maybe you guys can help me. Let's try to solve the problem of young men. We got a young man problem. What are we going to do with all these lost young men? Now, it's not everyone that's young. There's only some of them that are having problems, but it's a lot of them. And the statistics are there. Prisons are filled. Crime rates are through the roof. It's all men, young men. Suicide rates are through the roof. I know women kill themselves, but a lot of young men are killing themselves too. You know, drug addiction, you just keep going on with it. A lot of this negativity that's happening in society is being caused by young men. They're the problem. So let's solve this problem, the young man problem. What do we do? Well, I can only think about myself. When I was a young man in my early 20s, let's say from age 20 to 25, let's use that as an example. You could even say 18 to 25, 18 to 24, doesn't matter. But I was particularly out of control, and for me at least, I think it was common for a lot of people, at least in my generation, that we came from broken homes. There's a lot of people in my generation that came from broken homes, divorced families, single parents. Whether you were with your mom or with your dad, it wasn't the Leave It to Beaver family that you saw on TV. It wasn't the Brady Bunch. And that can be hard. A parent has to work. Kids have to raise themselves. My generation pretty much raised themselves. A lot of people my age, myself included, we went out into the streets. We didn't have the internet, we didn't have home entertainment, video games sucked. You had Pong, Space Invaders. It wasn't until the next generation of video games that they finally started to get fun to play. The first generation of video games sucked. So we were out in the streets, man, and I was low income, poor. So I didn't want to be in some apartment. A lot of times I felt nervous in the apartment. You'd hear stuff through the walls. My mom wasn't there. I wouldn't always feel safe. I'd rather be out in the streets with my friends. So I did that from age 10, all the way up, hung out in the streets, geez, until my late 20s. And that's kind of a common story. And I got heavily involved in drugs and crime and all of that. The stereotypical story, it's exactly what happened to me. No father in the house. I was out of control. We've heard this story a million times. I lived it, and so did many other people, most all my friends. I had a couple friends that were normal. They had parents, and they had like dinner time. Go home for dinner at like 7 o'clock or whatever. I didn't have any of that shit, ever. No dinner time at my house. I make my own dinner since I was a little boy. Frozen burritos. I grew up, me and my brother, we grew up on frozen burritos and top ramen. That's all we ever ate. And I'm not exaggerating. There was no other menu items. That was it. And there's so many people that have these broken stories. And they're all the same, and the cause is all the same. Family structure. And we can say that we can solve it through bringing the family together. And I agree with that. And we can try to encourage people to not have cheap one-night stands and to abstain from sex and to, you know, marry young, have kids, live a traditional lifestyle, go to church. I don't know, we can try to encourage this type of 1950s traditional lifestyle that used to exist that's been gone. And I'm not against that. But we can't abandon the hordes of lost young men that are already out there right now, that are filling the prisons, that are putting guns in their mouth, that are there right now. What do you do with them? Sure, maybe the next generation, we can save them through family and church and faith and all this stuff, but what do we do with what's going on in our backyards right now. And I notice for myself as I've gotten older that what really helps me is discipline, structure. And what I mean by discipline is not punishment, because some people think discipline is punishment. I'm going to go discipline my child. Sure, maybe I would have been good with a couple more spankings, but I mean discipline like daily discipline, learning to be a disciplined person. My daily discipline helps me get through. If I give up on being a disciplined person as an adult, I revert back to kind of like a childlike state, overgrown child. And I find that study, faith, those types of things help also. But then I was thinking, why did I join gangs? Why do kids join gangs? Is it because we don't have fathers? I didn't have a father, I joined gangs. Became a drug addict and a criminal, did the stereotypical thing. Why do people join gangs? Why are there so many young people out there joining gangs? And it's because they like not just the camaraderie, it's the support, and it's the discipline, and it's the wisdom that you get. When you join a gang, it's not just a free-for-all of animals. There's discipline, there's structure, there's rules. There's no freedom. It's not a democracy, it's a dictatorship. There's a hierarchy. There's punishment. You don't just have to learn to be a disciplined person to follow orders and to come through in what you say, but if you don't, you'll be punished. Why would somebody go join that? Because people want that. The downside of a gang, obviously, is the criminal behavior, the violence, early death. You're around a bunch of psychopaths with mental illnesses, you're most likely going to just die or go to prison. A lot of times that's what the leadership of these gangs wants, is you to go to prison. That's the whole point. They want you on a yard. So maybe gangs aren't the best fraternity for young men to go to, but if you think about what does a gang offer, you could maybe substitute the military. The military offers discipline that will teach you. In a gang, see, you go join a gang, at least out in my experience out in California, they will teach you how to dress, take you out of your little chump nerd clothes and put you in some gangster clothes and teach you how to take care of that shit. Here's the type of belt you wear, here's the type of socks you wear, here's the type of shoes you wear, here's the type of shirt you're gonna wear. This is what you wear from now on. And they'll teach you how to iron it up. And if you step out of the fucking house onto the block and you're wearing wrinkly bullshit ass clothes, one of the shot callers will tell you, get up in the house and take care of business. We don't come out of the house like that. We come out of the house crisp and clean. This is how gangsters look. I don't care if you're gonna get shot today. You're gonna get shot and go to your death looking fucking tight. Military teach you the same thing. Military will take these idiots and teach them how to make their bed, teach them how to comb their hair, teach them how to cut their hair, teach them how to wash, teach them how to do everything they need how to do in life, and yell at them the whole time to do it. And some people really need that, especially broken people. And there's so many broken people, and that's kind of what we're talking about. How do we save so many of these broken men? Not gangs, the military. What if we had mandatory, now this is a controversial idea, but I think maybe it would save a lot of young men. It probably would have saved me. As a 52-year-old looking back, if there would have been mandatory conscription, mandatory military service, if you are 18 years old coming out of high school and you don't have yourself enrolled full-time into a university, or let's give you another out. I'm just brainstorming, we're just philosophizing. So if you are enrolled full-time in a university, you don't have to go to the military. If you're working full-time and you can prove that you're working, say, family business or somewhere, you have 40 hours a week, you got a solid full-time job, you just graduated high school, you got a solid full-time job, then you don't have to go. But if you're just loafing around doing nothing, these video game idiots are out in the street, knucklehead like I was. Damn right you gotta go. That put you right into a military base somewhere and teach you how to be a man. I think it might be what would save people. And then what would happen? They would get out. It would be a career option because you could keep re-upping. Or if you want to get out and be a civilian again, you would have a resume. They'd teach you probably 5 or 10 skills. You'd be tough and you'd have some survival skills and you might have some confidence because maybe you would have toted a gun and shot a couple bullets off and maybe you would have been a hero and defended this country in some way or another. And you'd have some travel experience, so you'd have a little wisdom. You've been around, been to Japan, been to here, been to there. You'd come out at 24, 25 with a whole range of skills that you could then take into the world. At the very least, you would have been taught solid lifestyle management of how to clean up, how to be respectful, how to maintain your life. What do you guys think? What do you think the solution is for all these lost young men that are out there right now causing trouble? Food for thought.